And the Oscar goes to Michelle Yeoh.
今日我哋會睇下呢個馬來西亞籍嘅荷里活演員喺一個特輯入面講佢過往拍港產片同埋西片嘅一啲深刻感受，當中用到一啲乜嘢諺語 idioms 啦。用諺語嘅好處包括可以更加生動咁去表達你嘅想法，同埋用三言兩語就可以令人哋明白你嘅意思。當然係要你又用得啱，對方又理解得啱先係啦。
Growing up, I was a little ballerina at the age of 4. In school, I was a sports person. I played squash, I played table tennis. I was an all-rounder, jack of all trades, master of none.
楊紫瓊話自己4歲開始學跳芭蕾舞，喺學校又玩好多種運動，係個 all-rounder， 仲用咗呢個 idiom 嚟描述自己添。Jack of all trades, master of none。中文都有句咁嘅諺語㗎，就係周身刀冇張利。Michelle 當然係因為謙虛先咁講啦，計我話佢又演得又打得又有諗法，講嘢又有自信，簡直就係周身刀張利啊！
In my first acting role in 1984, The Owl vs. Bumbo. It was directed by Sammo Hung, one of the most incredible, athletic, agile director, martial artist. It was an action film, but at that time, we all played the damsel in distress.
佢拍嘅第一套電影係由洪金寶執導嘅《貓頭鷹與小飛象》The Owl vs. Bumble。呢套雖然係一套武打電影，但係 Michelle 未有得打住，而係飾演一個佢形容為 The Damsel in Distress 嘅角色。呢個諺語係解啲要等人救嘅女仔，咁救佢嗰個通常都係啲智勇雙全嘅男主角啦。英雄救美一直以嚟的確係好多中西電影同故事嘅情節。點解女仔就一定要係等人救嗰個呢？女仔都有能力自救，甚至救晒全村人都得㗎。呢樣嘢都慢慢開始有人改變緊㗎啦。喺奇異女俠玩救宇宙 Everything Everywhere All at Once 入面，就係由 Michelle 飾演嘅 Evelyn Wang 去發揮小宇宙啦。
I met with Ang Lee during the press junket of Tomorrow Never Dies, and I will never forget this amazing director. He sits opposite me, and anybody who knows Ang knows that he's a very soft-spoken, very adorable, smart, wise man. And he says, oh, you know, now you're such a big star, I don't know whether you will still talk to me. I fell off my chair.
當佢講到同李安導演見面，講佢構思緊嘅臥虎藏龍 Crouching Tiger Hidden Dragon 嘅時候，李安導演講笑咁同 Michelle 講：你而家咁出名，我都唔知道你仲會唔會同我講嘢啊！ Michelle 就用 fell off the chair 嚟形容佢嗰一刻嘅心情啦。呢個係指聽到啲令佢覺得好驚訝嘅嘢，差啲跌落地啊！咁講當然係好誇張嘅手法啦。想冇咁誇張，你可以講 nearly fell off my chair.
Memoirs of a Geisha was a great challenge because I was portraying a very well-known geisha, Japanese, and I am in awe of their culture. So I immersed myself tremendously into all the nuances of what it was to be Japanese to start off with. Because if we all sat in the same room, we all Asians sat in the same room, you probably couldn't tell where we are actually from. But it's always the little mannerisms. Then you start to notice. But because I was given such a privilege to play her, I really went all the way to make sure. And the biggest compliment I ever got was when we premiered in Tokyo and they said, you were like a Japanese lady. Over the moon.
到佢拍完藝伎回憶錄 Memoirs of a Geisha， 憑住佢好努力咁去鑽研藝伎嘅言行舉止，佢俾日本人話佢好似日本人啊！今次佢就用咗 Over the moon 嚟形容佢呢刻非常之開心嘅心情啦。好啦，我哋總結一下 Michelle 喺呢個短短嘅特輯入邊用咗邊4個 idioms 啊
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Jack of all trades, master of none 係解周身刀冇張利啊。例如話 Although he knew a little about many things, he was a jack of all trades, master of none.
Damsel in distress.
A damsel in distress 係解一個身陷險境要等人救嘅女仔。例如話 Princess Peach is always a damsel in distress, waiting for Mario to save her.
I fell off my chair.
Nearly fall off one's chair 意思係解覺得好震驚。例如話 When my favorite singer came out on stage, I nearly fell off my chair in excitement.
Over the moon.
Over the moon 係指非常非常開心。例如 The little girl was over the moon when her parents surprised her with a trip to Disneyland. 呢位咁成功嘅演員，最後同大家分享佢嘅成功之道，就係要虛心不斷學習，同埋要出盡全力做好準備。
I always believe the harder you work, the luckier you become. And then when you do get the opportunity, you're ready.
機 會係留俾有準備嘅人。呢句說話好多人都講過啦。英文除咗好似 Michelle 咁講 When you do get the opportunity, you're ready 之外，有一句諺語係 Chance favours the prepared mind。我希望之後可以有機會講下 Michelle 係點樣加入娛樂圈，同埋佢最近喺各大頒獎禮嗰度大放異彩，中間我哋又有啲咩英文可以學到啊？我係 Angie，下次見。